Legends from the Navajo, the Anasazi, and the Aztec people speak of 13 crystal skulls passed down through antiquity as a gift from what the Navajo have called the Star People. It's been said many of the skulls were created through source energy off-planet, while others created by ancient cultures, each having a unique vibrational signature. The skulls were relocated to safer locations in times of Earth's imbalance, most notably before the Great Deluge and fall of Atlantis, Lemuria, and even earlier. The significance of taking the shape of a humanoid skull is the association with the brain and knowledge. Quartz crystal can naturally store a multitude of information, and it's said the knowledge of all that is contained within the skulls. The crystal skulls act as trans-servers, having the capacity to bring in higher frequencies from other realms. They have the ability to reflect and clarify a person's own personality structure by the laying of the hands onto the skulls and connecting through a meditative state with it. The crystal skulls have the capacity to store consciousness, collective energy, and are innately co-creative with the ability to manifest desires onto the earth realm. Of the alleged skulls found thus far, the first to go on public display is housed at the museum in Paris. After rigorous testing, engineers concluded it showed traces of polishing and abrasion of modern tools and seemed to be procured in the 19th century. The second crystal skull to go on public display was sold by Tiffany & Company to the Victoria and Albert Museum in London in 1897. Similarly, this skull was found to be made with modern tools, and tests showed inclusions native to Madagascar. In 1992, the Smithsonian was anonymously gifted a crystal skull with an aesthetic seemingly attributed to ancient Mesoamerican cultures. The skull was taken to the Victoria and Albert Museum to be tested. Modern tools and abrasives were verified. It is still being displayed as a modern fake at the National Museum of Natural History. In Houston, Texas, resident Joanne Parks acquired a crystal skull in 1977 from a Tibetan healer upon his deathbed. She, as his employee for 4 years, observed the healer talk to the skull and use it in his practice. Joanne learned the skull had been discovered in 1924 in a tomb in Guatemala under a Mayan temple, and a shaman in Mexico had given it to the Tibetan healer as a gift. Joanne had stated upon receiving the skull, she stored it in a box in her closet for 10 years, but would have reoccurring dreams about it. She took the skull to the Houston Museum to learn more about it, but they wanted to keep it and put it on display. Joanne declined and took it home with her. She patted the skull on the head and telepathically heard the response, "My name is Max. I am a tool. I am a teacher. I will serve mankind in a unique and special way." Joanne Parks holds that Max is one of the 13 ancient skulls, with origins from another planet, and is an encoded messenger. The Victoria and Albert British Museum authenticated Max with a no comment because they couldn't figure out how he was created. Their testing provided information that the skull was very old, having 5 different growth patterns and 2 matrices. The most famous of crystal skulls proclaiming to be of the 13 is the Mitchell-hedges skull, also known as the Skull of Doom, allegedly discovered in 1924 by adopted daughter Anna Mitchell-hedges, buried in a temple in Belize. Although recent evidence has come to light showing an F.A. Mitchell-hedges purchasing the skull at a Sotheby's auction in London on October 15, 1943, and a letter disclosing purchase to his brother. The Mitchell-hedges skull is made from a solid block of clear quartz with a detached jaw that some say symbolizes its strength and power over the other skulls, as the mandible is the strongest bone in the human body. In the 1960s, the skull was brought to Santa Clara, California to be tested at Hewlett-Packard, who verified it was fashioned from a single crystal of quartz, displayed piezoelectric properties, and could be up to 12,000 years old. Anna Mitchell-hedges was caregiver to the skull from age 17 to her death at 100 years old, and stated throughout that the skull could predict tremendous global disasters by sweating. Legend has it that once united, the 13 ancient crystal skulls would reveal the sum of all human knowledge, each containing different types of information, all imbued with ancient consciousness. Some of the ancient skulls have yet to be located, some never will be. It's rumored one is within a guarded tunnel in South America, and at least one is under the ocean. When the time on Earth is cohesive, all will be revealed.